So we have seen three presentations. The purpose of all the three presentations was that how to develop a web page. Now question is, what could be on a web page? For us, whenever we make any report, it might be your assignment, it might be some article, it might be your experience about the educational trip, or it might be your ideas about the life or anything. So whenever you write, it might be a story, it might be a novel. So whenever write a content, earlier we used to write on a paper, right? And we have the magazines, newspapers, we have the books and like that. And nowadays same thing has been taken in the form of the digital. And we see everything, books, magazines are converted into web pages. So that means whatever content we would like to produce, that might be a design, something you design about that design. So everything will be a web page. From that web page, you can produce the doc file, you can produce the PDF or ebook or whatnot. So if you have something base, then whatever format is required, you can produce that, right? So because basic language is HTML, so you should know. If I say I am searching Wikipedia and India, and it throw me a page which will write something about the India. And you can see these are the things written, content. So that's what then we have this some section, then another section. In that section there is another subsection, or we call it heading. And that means everything whatever we read in the form of novel, book, it has a structure, and content will have words, lines, sentences, and then the paragraphs. So paragraph is a structure of a document, right? Different paragraphs combined, that can be some section. So basically if I talk about the article, so article will have a title, it might have some abstract, then you will have a section, then it may be divided into 3-4 sections, and each section may have subsection, then subsection might have subsection. Likewise, so you divide your whole write-up into different segments, sections. It might have images, it might have the tables, it can also have the list, and like that. So whatever you want to have in a write-up, in a report, so same feature should be offered by the HTML. And that's what we just write, and we need to tell this is my paragraph, this is my heading, or this is the section, this is the subsection. So I am not telling you about the HTML. And my terminology is also different. Section is not there as such in HTML. Subsection is not there. It might be in some other system. But similar things will be named in different technology or different software differently. But broadly, these are the things whichever you have in your books, on your reports, right? So there will be ways and means. So we have seen, like we have, if that is the case, so we have sections, or we call it heading of that section. In HTML we call it H1, which is the highest, most prominent, right? So you can say a country is divided into states. So like state, then state will have the districts, so because that becomes the next level, subsection, and so further. So these divisions will be there for the write-up. So highest is H1, Then we have H2, H3, H4 and like that. Similar things will exist corresponding in some other technology. We call it section, subsection, subsections and like that. Now these are the things we have seen. We have H1, H2. We have seen we have a facility to insert the image. We have the ways and means to have the table. Have you covered the table in your presentation? I think not, but she covered in the markdown, right? So everything we should know how to do that. On paper, you can do that. You know that if you write bigger or you highlight it, it becomes more emphasis, right? Whenever we do any programming or something, you must be very clear that you need to separate your content from the look and feel. Never try to say I wanted to it a bigger, I should make it bold like that. Don't do like that. Just we need to tell what is this. Is it a paragraph? Is it a heading 1 or heading 3? So things will follow naturally. And this then that role of the CSS will be to give look and feel. And we should not try to, I call it hard formatting. If I say to bold it, you underline this, don't do that, right? It will be a job of the CSS to provide look and feel so that it will be consistent. Now HTML is doing the job. There's a version of the HTML. You can with the passage of time, as more and more requirement came, so different elements are added to that, and now it is very attractive. But still there are editors available, as just like you do the in Microsoft Word you can write. So similar things will be available. Just from the clicking the icons you can do everything. No need to type text like H1 or tag something like that, no need. So those things are available. Still persons are preferring simpler way, and that's why markdown came. Markdown, you just in a notepad or any text editor you can write. So why it is popular? If you are a content writer, you want to focus on the write-up. You don't want to focus on this look and feel, right? So just to focus on that, and you can read it in a plain text. It can be converted into any format. So that's why we are using it. Then we learned today about the GitHub pages. So basically GitHub is a version control system on the web. As a software developer or as any document you are caring for, your each document, even it is simple application you want to write to the principal for the change in branch, it may not you write in a single go. You write, save as a draft, then you improve it, then you improve it. Finally, if it is a more serious document like your biodata, you keep on having different versions. First you polish, then after some time you get some more experience, more scale, you want to add that. So for single document will be like a live document, it will keep on changing. If not content wise, not data wise, you can polish it otherwise to make it more pleasing. And if document is too important for an organization, then it might be possible on same document more than one persons are working, right? So to make that type of the arrangement, I say GitHub is not only good for the programmer, it is good for the any document writer. So if you want to make version of your document, you want to preserve the history, okay, when what was written and who has written it in a collaborative environment. This is a version control system. GitHub is not the only, there are many others available, right? So developers programmer had developed this system to make their life easier, and it has been used by many. And then requirement arises, why don't for our project we have the web pages? So GitHub has offered the facility that you can have the web pages there, but with a limitation. Limitation is you cannot have a dynamic pages from the GitHub. It can only allow static pages. So they don't want anything to be run on server side, on their server. So you can put the content there or JavaScript as well, which run on the client side, right? They only want that processing power of the client should be used, that they permit. So you can have static websites for that matter. and it become popular. Not many companies are hosting their website from the GitHub itself, or then there are static content generators tools are available. Idea is we should learn that something about the HTML pages so that we can identify that this is HTML page, or you can say this is the tag H1 responsible for the heading 1, or highest order heading, then header 2, and all other things we have learned. Then markdown much simpler, and on the GitHub pages, right, primarily used for the version control of the program. If program, it can also be used for the documents. If document, it can also be used for the your web pages. So web pages can also be hosted from the GitHub. Now we are using markdown, or you can also use the HTML to host your web pages from the GitHub, and they also give a nice domain to that, right? So question is that when you create that repository there, it creates a readme and then for readme file, right? They allow markdown there, and then you can have links there, so you can create wonderful websites. You can see the example there, and my see whatever you want to create, your daily diary, your report, documentation of your projects, so everything should be on GitHub. The benefit is that it is adding to your profile. Most of the time companies see your GitHub profile and offer you the job. So don't try to keep your work only with you, rather publish it publicly. And if you really do something good, you will get unexpected calls from the persons who want to use your talent. So that's the thing. Any question on this? I mean, you may be find little bit boring the way we have the presented the matters, but just you need the idea, and then you need to do it yourself. Like, I need not to remember anything. I just want H1, H2, H3, like for how to create a table, how to create a link, or how to insert an image. To start with, that is enough. If some requirement arises, then you can go to search for cheat sheet, markdown, GitHub, and you get this, right? So I suggest just go through this once, right? Just go through, and you should know, or whatever you have the requirement, search on the internet, you will get, and then you can find how to use that from this. Just copy paste, change values, whatever you want to do, and that's how you can deliver the things without knowing anything. So whenever is required, search that, use that, and once you use it again and again, right, then you are not going to search it, then you will remember it automatically. So as an expert, when you do lot of work without any putting effort to remember anything, it will automatically be remembered. So that's how we will do, right? So you have created few pages. If I see those links, those pages has been created on Frappe, not with GitHub, right? So to start doing something on GitHub, and then whatever you did on your Frappe, we will see that so these are the complete web pages published here. Alright, so let us see first by Sumandeep. See on website. Alright, so this is a web page. Sumadeep, can you come here closer and explain what is this? I mean, so that your voice is also recorded. I mean, just give what type of templates you have used or whatever was your experiments, whether you yourself is liking it or disliking it. Just explain and speak loudly so that your voice is recorded well.
So firstly, I have used the cover page template to show that my title is social media addiction.
Okay, so this is a title page, this section, first one. Okay, then this.
So this was a hero with slider template in which I have shown an image, and along with that, what is this image related to?
Very good.
So this is a full width image template in which we can add any image to our web page.
I don't know, it does not look like a full width, right? Width looks like here and this gap here. So you need to check what is wrong.
So this is section with cards in which I have shown two different things, that is FOMO and JOMO, like the fear of missing out when we are not using social media, and JOMO is joy of missing out, like we can enjoy that feeling when we are not using it.
Excellent.
So then after that I have used Markdown here to show what are the steps that we can use to break our social media addiction.
Okay, so markdown section. Okay, excellent. So this is wonderful result and we can further improve after getting the feedback. Okay, no, right? You have learned HTML, Markdown, and here she have used no code technology to produce these pages. Like, so she purposefully used Markdown, and even without Markdown, there is a rich text editor there. You can use, I mean, to make such type of stunning, beautiful pages, you don't need to learn much. So without any HTML coding, you can do it. I mean, we are using Markdown as per our choice or HTML as per our choice. Knowing that, or as you progress, having expertise in that is good for you. It does not mean you should not learn that. You should learn that. So that was the first outcome of the so this is the reader. Okay, right, there is only one section and choice of your images all matters. So you need to take images relevant, and I need to know from you about the size of the image. Anyone can comment on this? Okay, then who is the author of this? सुख कोई है थे? जसपिंदर कौर, So Jaspinder, would you like to explain this, or what you have learned, or if you have any question? So for more information, click here. It goes on outside side. Okay. हाँ जी, किसी और का पेज है दिखाना किसी का? Anything else you want to say here? This one. Yes, yes, they explain it. Come closer here, come to. So this is about the architecture.
At the top there is a cover image section. On the top there is a cover image section, and I have applied full width to the complete web page. Then after this I have used Markdown to explain architecture and what are the 7 different types of architecture. Then this is hero with right image, and I have provided 2 links here. This is a hero's image slider, which is an image slider, and I have inserted 4 images here regarding architecture. And here I have used section with collapsible content and provided what are the future approaches for architecture that are possible. At the end, I have added a discussion section in which one could comment or present his views.
So you can comment in the markdown format, right? So you can see, you can do this type of work without knowing any HTML. That's the power of no code, right? So let us exploit it, make a good website for the GNDC or for your own purpose, for your family business, for your whatever you want to do. So just play with this and share your experience, make 1 or 2 good websites out of that. Now then we will move further, alright. See, I need to give you permissions for that purpose. So from here I need to switch to desk. And normally as a programmer we need to focus on this build. Right? Build mean you are building some software, making of the software. So in this is an application. This application will have lot many apps, and the list of the installed app you can find from the help. Now I am explaining you the Frappe framework. So when you install these systems, I am not explaining the installed things are available for you to play with this experiment. So we are just not telling you how to manufacture the car. I am just telling you how to drive the car. Just enjoy the drive. So here in about you can see what type of apps are installed. So it tells us the website of this framework, and then other some social media links of that. It has there so many apps are available. Frappe Chat, Education, ERP Next, Frappe Framework, Frappe HR, Frappe LMS and Payment, right? You can uninstall app, you can install more apps. thing is, this Frappe framework has to be there. This is an app, so if I want to work on a Frappe framework, so I can develop my own apps in Frappe framework, so it has to be there, right? So this is by default because we are going to work with this lab, right? This is optional, this is optional, this is optional, and ERP Next is a wonderful and very big and very complex app, right? Again, this is a part of that. A human resource management, companies need to that. This is like Moodle learning management system, and this is a payment if you want to have the like a payment gateway, you want to receive the payments or do the payments, so you can have it and much more apps are available. So our focus is here Frappe framework. So like you can create your own app as well, right? So every app will have modules. This app can be divided into sub-components modules, and then modules will have something called the DocType, right? So here is a DocType. So if I click here DocType, it will give me the list of all the DocType it is having. And at the moment I am filtering it with a row. If I skip this, so you can have a much more complex list because lot many apps are installed here. So rather than working on here, I will explain from some other where apps are very less. Right? So here I will see apps are in about, now here list is very less. Frappe framework, one is Press, other is Kern, right? So you can have your own app and you can do that. And if this is a search and they call it awesome search bar, you can search here anything. So if I type DocType list, so I get this DocType. At the moment it is filtering, so I will want to see, so you can use filter here as well, right? So these are the modules. Leave it. So I can so with a Kern module, these are the DocTypes. So you can filter module wise. If you want to add something, a new DocType. Now basically what is a DocType? In whatever way you want to make a application, it will take some input, some data, and then we process it, it will have some output. So all those data will be captured and we store in a database. Got it? And to make that database, without knowing the database, we will make the DocType. It will have information about this database and how the document will behave, right? Everything. And more we come to appreciate this when we see it. So I will start with the add a DocType. So I am going to create a new DocType. In this particular app name is module, app's name is Kern. Whatever is name of the app, there will be a module with the same name, and I can add more modules to that, right? So here I am going to add DocType. Just click on add DocType. So here you get a message, this site is running in a developer mode, any changes made here will be updated in code. If you wish to customize for site, then do like this, don't make it rather than customize it. If you are a developer, programmer, and want to develop new things, then it has to be the developer mode. Once development is over, we then stop the developer mode, right? In that case, then not code will not be changed. Your code will remain the same. Then we can customize to some extent, and that customization will not change your code. It will only make changes in the database. So that is a very good point of this Frappe framework. So what name you want to give it? Say I call it GNE. I want to give name GNE. So this will be a part of the kernel module. And for the timing, I am not reading anything as such. Slowly you will read it. And here this is the field. I will add row here. So when I add row, I need to tell here what is the label. Let us say I want to capture the names, right? So it might be the first name, and most of the time we will keep the type as a data, right? And no need to do anything else. Add more, last name, right? Again data, again something more. I need to type here last name, then let us say age, and want to age, right? And I want, these are the type of the data, like you have integer, float, like string, and like that. I want it to be integer. I pressed I, so it gave on I, and here I can put it integers. So for different type of my input which I want to capture or the output, this is data related to your program, right? Sufficient, and then this is a naming rule. This naming rule means I will make it auto increment for the moment. For every record, there will be something unique which can be identified that record, right? Like in college, it can be your roll number. In India, it can be your Aadhaar number. So in computer science, whenever we make any database, any table in the database, we want to associate one unique ID so that we can identify it. Other things can be same, but this will not be the same for every record in that database, right? So I am making it auto increment. There are a lot of options. We will explore it in time to come. All right, with this much information I can save it. All right, so it showed me first name, it was the label entered by me, and it has taken this automatically. So in database it will be represented by this name. Internally it created a database. In database some table is created, and in table these are the fields which will be used and store the data, right? Go to GNE list. It say in GNE there is no data available, so it has just created a database but no data is there. You want to create your first entry in that, so it asks for your first name. Let us say Hardeep, last name Rai, age 25. See, otherwise I have to create a web page to capture this data, then link with the database. That everything has been done by the framework. The routine work which needed to be done is automatically taken care. That is the benefit. So just you need to tell what information you want to capture and save it. Fine, it has been stored there and saved, and you can Control B is a shortcut to add a new entry. like, so you can have Suman, Garewal is 14. So now I'm not using the real data, right? So that way you can create the things. Now I can go to GNE. So it tell me there are two records available, right? And I can click on this to see first record and go to this next one. So that's how we will be creating database, and for which you can add the data. So if I need to develop any application, right, so first thing is that design of the database. You analyze the information for that particular project and then make the tables. Then how to make the tables? It is a specialized field, probably you are not aware how to do that, so you make some mistakes, it hardly matter. Something I will tell about that, but in your maybe third year you will learn that subject, relational database management system or database management system, right? You might be doing the similar things in Excel. In Excel you create the table, that is also a database, so you know that how to do that. So I would like to give some exercise just to get that how you will try to make the information tables in Excel sheet or Google sheet. So today you are going to do this practice. Again, if I go to DocType, so you can see this is available because it has been sorted as per the last updated. This is just updated 4 minutes ago. So it is on the top and you can change how you want to sort it. Now, what other things I can do? I can make things mandatory. Right? If I check here, then it will be mandatory. Right? Then there is also a quick entry. So for this purpose, I will make first name as not the mandatory, last name as the as mandatory, and then quick entry. What is a quick entry? Opens a dialog with mandatory fields to create a new record quickly. So there might be 20 fields, what mandatory are only 5. So in quick entry only 5 entries will be asked. And that way you can make such changes, save it. Now you can see earlier only this ID was there. Now there is a last name and age there. So that means in this list now all the mandatory fields are there. This is a unique name, naming, it has to be there. So once we made these two mandatory, it also came here. And if I add new, right, no, this is a quick entry form, much simpler. So I can just add last name, again is 10. So if you wish, you can add it in a full form, right? Otherwise, no, here it came, but you don't find it, and you can add more with So add more. Sharma. So you click here, it open in the full form. No, first name is also there, Geet Sharma. Fine. So that's how you will create the DocType, which is database required for some particular requirement, plus more things which is mandatory, and all other things which we have neglected. You can see it also keep a record of everything. You created this just now, right? And whatever changes you make, it keep on telling you. So complete log history is maintained. So that will be the power of any framework. Any question? Any question?
सर आईडी अपना सीरियल वाइज कौन सा है?
हाँ जी?
आईडी ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ
Serial wise ही है.
वन ਥੱਲੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ
This is sorting options. The last updated. ठीक है ना? आप ये sorting descending order च करनी है क्या ascending order च करनी है? Right? You can filter from here. You can change की sorting करने का आते हैं. So these are the things. You can do it on last name. So all options are there, right? So then these records are more. You can have see only 20 records, right? Once you increase the record. So that's how you can, I mean, search. Now I can show Frappe framework. And I asked yesterday, you give me an alternative of this framework, right? I will ask in the Google group, you answer there, or you can ask yourself and start giving the answer. See, as per this website, if you don't use any framework, so I am not comparing framework with the framework. So if you just do with your fundamental knowledge of HTML, PHP, Python, or JavaScript, or other things, and you try to make some application, web application, and if you make use of the Frappe framework, no code, then you need to do only about 3% of the coding. That is only the about that project. The rest of the things, bookkeeping, lot of routine things will be taken care of by this, which you have experienced now. You have seen, right? So this is a low code, right? So there is not only no code have lot of limitations. So no code mean around 3% of the coding you can do, and which will empower you to meet the requirements, right? So that's how you can get started. And what we will do in get started, first thing is the task I gave you yesterday. You make use of the list is shared about the web templates. So you divide web templates among yourself. I mean, if there are 12 templates, you can divide 3 or 4 will come there. So you experiment with that and tell use case, look, try all the options there. There will maybe a lot of options. You tell all the options and give your experience how to make use of those options to get the best result, or results suitable for a particular circumstances, right? That will be first task, just static web pages. Then today we have started using the dynamic things. We created a database, right? And we captured data, we taken data from the users. Whatever we did, I did it as an administrator, right? and it is, we call it a back office work, or you can call it a back end. So this data will be entered by the staff of a company, not by the user, not by the visitor of the website, right? So that front end I have not touched at the moment. So first we will talk about the back end, that how to handle the back end, data entered by the staff and do the things, right? And for that, so we went to the tutorial. In tutorial, right, there will be so this is the how to create a doc type, which I explained you. So from here you will start creating a doc type. I have skipped all this. So this is from where you can, so I tell you the awesome bar, that is search bar, right? So I will give you the provision where you can do like this. So you are going to follow this tutorial, right? I have shown you the creation of doc type. One doc type I have created, right? So I have taken only 3 entries, and here data entries will be more, right? 1, 2, 3, and 3 will have further sub, total 7, so total 9 are there, right? So this image may be somewhat different or it may not work. So whatever you do, first read this information very carefully and see this image carefully, like this is like a video, then do it and observe again carefully. If you are not getting the desired result, you have to ask on a Google group, giving sufficient detail, giving your log, giving steps you have followed, like which tutorial you have followed, what steps you have taken, and what problem where you have faced. Report in a proper manner so that one can help you. And I should not help you, you among yourself should help each other. Right?